Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm Naveed, aka Barely Average Gaming, and this is GameKheyl. Today, we are doing something a little out of the ordinary, something a little different, and today we are going to talk about this game called ESBC, which has taken the entire combat esports world by storm, and everyone's really excited and looking forward to it. There is a little bit of skepticism when it comes to when this game is going to be released, why the beta isn't out yet, but some of the best boxers in the world are already enlisted in this game, both past and the present. So personally, as a combat esports fan, I am very excited to see whenever this game is out. The trailers look amazing. The notes that have come out have been very promising, and also the conversations that you're going to see are going to explain in detail what the community thinks about this game, and especially the combat community of UFC 4, who have taken a lot of interest in this game, primarily because we have all been waiting for a very good boxing or a combat sport simulator that has not been out. So this game looks like it can fill up the void. It might actually help the community to find some sort of leverage against UFC, because right now the UFC games frankly have not been up to the standards that the community has demanded. Perhaps that might change once ESBC comes out. That might change once the new engine comes out with UFC 5 or so. But again, the community is very excited for what's to come. And also, we've had some of the best esports combat streamers, gamers on this channel, and they've shared their pieces, their reviews on what they think ESBC is all about. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you what they think. And also for everyone watching, before we start that part of this video, I hope you guys are subscribing to the channel, because we constantly post content like this. This is our first time we're doing a review, but all in all, this is something that we would like to do over. So we'll see how the responses go. If there's anything that you would want us to improve, the feedbacks are always welcomed. And also, if you think this content is something that is worthwhile, share it. So that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say. Enjoy the video, guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the comment section. Peace.
Yeah, I can't wait for ESBC. I've never had a boxing game before. I never had Fight Night Champion. So this will be the first boxing game I played, and it looks great so far. And I feel like they've got a great team behind them to really build up the game and make it as best as it can be. So yeah, I'm 100% going to get that as soon as it comes out. It won't replace UFC for me. UFC is always going to be my favorite game, but ESBC for sure is going to be a game I play a lot alongside UFC.
The SBC, I'm so hyped about it. I'm really dying to put my hands on that game, and I hope it's going to be a very good game, very famous game also. So we can start even to make some money, you know, to go, I don't know, esports tournaments. I'm really looking to be one of the best in that game, because finally we can have just a striking game, as you know, I really want a striking game. So over there will be, I hope, no cheesy stuff, like, I don't know, no more clinch, no more takedowns, you know, just a tactic game, you know, just, I don't know, I guess there are 42 or 46 punches totally. So it's gonna be, I think, much more competitive game and real game, you know, real boxing simulator, you know. You can only just punch your opponent, so I need to study the counter strikes. That's what I like, you know. So I think I will love very much that game, and I hope it's going to come out soon, because I'm getting fed up on waiting. Trust me, like, I want to put my hands on that game so badly.
I think it's going to boost the competition within the fighting realm. It's simple. It's effective boxing. People who don't even really watch boxing are going to revert to this game and at least give it a shot, because it's a fighting game, a professional sport game. And because it's a professional sport fighting game, we are seeing people that just want action go to it. So we're going to see the entire Fight Night community head over there that still play Fight Night Champion. The game that was released, I think, 2011, 2013, something around those lines, still being played to this day, because people really enjoy the boxing and enjoy that kind of corner man system. And because of that, I believe it's going to ups the challenges, right? Like, if there's no competition, then what you're doing right now wins always. So there's no reason for you to up the ante.
I'm really bad at getting sucked into things. So if I was to just look at everything, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'd be sitting there in excitement for however long it takes for this game to come out. So I try my best to keep my distance. I looked at the good bits, like a few of the gameplay features, and I've read up a little bit, but I'm not getting too invested just yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Of course I'm going to play. I've got a gaming PC, so I can just play the beta when it comes out, because I know it's not coming onto console just yet. So when it does drop, it's going to be on PC. So yeah, as soon as it drops, I'm going to be on it, of course. I can't wait. And it's something new. We've not had a boxing game in God knows how long. And I heard they're making a new fight night as well, maybe. But yeah, I'll be on it for sure. I'll be smashing out Canelo Alvarez all the time.
They've gotten A-list names. They've gotten the Canelos. They've gotten the Alis. They've gotten the Sugar Ray Leonards. They've gotten huge names, Terrence Crawford. They've gotten these huge names that, unfortunately, Fight Night Champion probably would have never have got. Fight Night Champion had a few good names. I think the biggest name they had was probably Tyson and Pacquiao. It's probably the two biggest names out of the whole game. But they had Fury, one of the most known boxers right now. Canelo, the biggest boxer right now. Terrence Crawford. All these guys are very well known. And, the roster is continuously starting to, it's starting to pick up. And I know a lot of people, they're like, when is it coming out? When is this? When is that? Listen, SCI, the development company for ESBC Steel City Interactive, they want perfection with the game. And I have to respect that, because, they want the game to be perfect. But people have to understand, we don't want a case of Cyberpunk. We don't want a case of they rushed the game, and then it's not what we like, and now it's even more scrutiny behind the game, because there's already a lot of scrutiny behind it. Agreed. So we don't want even more scrutiny. So they want to get the game to a point where it's releasable, to where it's enjoyable. Obviously, they're going to have some complaints. There's going to be some glitches, some exploits. That's every game. But I'm confident that they can get to a point where it's releasable, where everybody can enjoy it. I know some people in the UFC 4 community really don't take too well to the game, which I kind of don't understand, but that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic, but I'm very proud. Yeah, I'm very proud of how far, the game has come, because if you look at some of the earlier trailers, they were good, but they're not to the extent of how they are now. They've been backed by the major organizations in boxing. They have so much stuff going for them, man. I literally cannot wait for, thinking about this, man. I'm salivating. I can't wait for this game. And yeah, man, just shout out to everybody on that development team. Keep doing what y'all doing. And man, it's gonna be fun, because a lot of people are gonna grow their channels from this game. A lot of people. And I can't wait to see the growth. And I just can't wait for the game to come out.
It's going to be a crazy game. I can't wait to play it. I'm in love with combat sports, period. So I watch boxing. I watch MMA, you even catch me, watching karate tournaments, jiu-jitsu, the Eddie Bravo invitationals. I just love combat sports, period. So I'll be on it. It's going to be a real, I just kind of am holding off my judgments for the game until the game is actually released, because I feel like that's how you get let down. Is you have such high expectations, like, oh my God, this game's going to be better than UFC 4, and this game's going to be this, and that. And then when it comes out, you forget that this is the first game that this company is making that's a boxing game. So it's like, okay, you set the bar so high that if they don't meet that, then it's a disappointment. So it's like, okay, I'm going to wait to see the way that the game comes out, the way that the mechanics are, see the flaws in the game, how they react to the flaws, which is, I think that's something that really pisses the community off about EA Sports Canada, is that they're very slow in reacting to the problems that are in the game. They don't address what the community wants them to address in patches. They kind of just take their time with it. So it's going to be real interesting to see what ESBC does and how quick they react to the flaws in their game. So it's going to be real interesting. I can't wait to play it. I'm really excited. I already got some content in the works with some of the UFC 4 guys. We have some videos that are going to be dropped. I'm going to be grinding it hard on stream. and I'm going to be full committed to it, but I'm not going to leave UFC 4 to the side. I know a lot of people have been asking me about that. When ESBC drops, are you just going to stop playing UFC 4? No, I'm not going to stop playing UFC 4 just because ESBC drops. So I'm going to be grinding both games. It's just it's nice to see another combat sports game coming into play. And then on top of that, right after maybe like a couple, depending on when it gets released, we might see UFC 5 literally immediately right after that. So hopefully ESBC pushes UFC and pushes EA Sports to up their game, because then they have a little bit of a rivalry going on. And that's the best thing for everybody, is when two companies are making combat sports game and they're going neck and neck, because then the games are just going to be that much more amazing.
Okay. So ESBC. So again, as somebody who's involved in like development, so basically someone involved in development and gaming, them delaying it is a good sign because they're trying to get out a better product. I do think it's going to be very important for them to have like a public type of alpha or beta, because it's kind of like in UFC's case, right? We can have everything in place to have a MMA style game, which is for the most part does that pretty well for what it can do. But then you have other people that are like, I don't want to play I don't want to do all this extra stuff. Let me see what's the cheapest way to win. Maybe if I just press these buttons together, somebody can get frame trapped and they can't move or something like that, right? So that's why it's really good to have like open testing, like real good open testing, which is something I hope to see them do. Now, because it's a boxing game, right? So there's not going to be any concerns of kicks. There's not going to be any concerns of takedowns. Really, it's going to be mainly the footwork. They're going to have the brief clinches and everything, the immersion with that. Also, like certain variations in terms of boxing styles and whatnot. I think like that's going to make it easier for them to develop them, because they don't have to worry about all of those other extra things, right? Because in an MMA game, you have to worry about all those extra intangibles and more. I would like to see them try and implement a vulnerability system, because one thing that I like about the vulnerability system, and I think people don't really understand this, is that if you ever, after this interview, I want you to go and check out Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns, right? And you're going to pay attention to every single time that Usman drops Burns with a jab. And the key thing with vulnerability is that max vulnerability is either literally right as the startup, as when somebody's about to start up a strike, or generally at the end of the strike when you're like out of position. And sometimes it can be in the middle if you catch them at the right time. But those 2 moments of peak vulnerability are like good times. And what you see what boxers do really well, like Lomachenko, when he intercepts another boxer's rhythm, and he doesn't allow them to get set and ready, right? Like once they do like a little thing, right? And when they try to set their feet and go, Lomachenko's already intercepting them. So he's not letting them go like 1, 2, 3, go. Like he's hitting them, boom, right before they can even get settled, right? And that's how I look at vulnerability. And if you watch the fight with Kamaru Usman and Burns, right? You'll see it in live action, but Burns tries to leg kick him, he tries to calf kick him, and Usman stuffs him with a stiff jab. And that jab does so much damage because he's on one leg, right? He's about to start up. He's about to put all his force into that. And then all that force is, boom, it's just crashing through his body. He's on one leg. He's a huge man, and he just took all that power at once. And that's how vulnerability works. So I think to have a really good boxing game, right? You don't want to have necessarily a game, right? I think, for example, a good fighter, a good boxer to bring up, Deontay Wilder, right? Massive power, right? But people talk about his power, right? But you have to kind of be in position to get those power strikes. And there was I forgot his name, it was the Cuban boxer. He was outboxing, he was getting outboxed. Deontay Wilder was getting outboxed for like 7 rounds. And I forgot his name. I forgot his name.
Tyson Fury.
No, not Tyson Fury. It was the Cuban. I'm talking about the fight that Wilder won. Like the fight.
All right. Oh, that one. Yeah. Never mind. I don't know the name.
Yeah, it's funny because like he's a phenomenal boxer. And but basically Ortiz, that's his name, Ortiz. So Ortiz is outboxing him for 7 rounds, and all Deontay does, he set it up perfectly, right? He set it up, he started circling behind his jab, right? Ortiz started following, and then Deontay timed him, caught him as he was about to go again and hit him right square in the forehead, and then knocked him out, right? Was that because of Deontay's power? Yes, of course, but he set it up accordingly? Yes. So my biggest fear for the game would be like, oh, God forbid, you go and you're striking, you're boxing somebody, and then you didn't even do anything to be necessarily vulnerable to get hit hard, but you just get touched once, and it's like, oh yeah, the game decided this is a knockout. It's like, oh God, that would be terrible. Like my excitement for the game is pretty high. I'll say it's about like a good 7 or 8. It's pretty good because I know what it takes, and it seems that they're really passionate about it. They have the money clearly with all the fighters that they're licensing. But the key thing is gameplay. Like gameplay is what I want to see more player versus player gameplay. Like I think we've seen, plenty of us can speak that we've seen player showcases. I did get a notification from the Discord. It could be about something new that I haven't seen yet, so I might have to check it out. But I think seeing player versus player gameplay and then seeing how all the systems work together is going to be really key on making sure this game has longevity.
Honestly, my expectations of the game, I try to keep them low because at the end of the day, this is an indie company that they've had investors invest in them. And also, I don't know if it's true. It ain't true. I don't want to say it ain't true because you never know. But I know JMMA put on his Twitter that Floyd is someone commented on his YouTube video that Floyd was the investor of ESBC, and that's like why his dad is on it, and it was some other Mayweather that's on it that just got added on it. Yeah, but I mean, who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, that's just a rumor. I was just skeptical, but that's pretty crazy. If Floyd Mayweather is an investor, this game, my expectations would probably go a bit higher because the amount of money that Floyd could invest into the game. But honestly, I have hope. Like I honestly have hope within Steel City Interactive because how they have gone about communicating with the community and taking criticism. Like, and I'm not going to bash EA, but I'm just going to have to compare and contrast when it comes to EA taking criticism versus Esports Boxing Club taking criticism, or Steel City. They take it and they face it and they'll throw it back at us and say, okay, here, we showed you, we know, we see your concerns. Versus EA, it kind of goes white noise. You know what I'm saying? Within the stuff, and maybe it doesn't go white noise, but from the reflection of things that are being in the patches and stuff like that, especially a community, the things that the community wants. I know it's like community something within the patches that we want. A lot of those things the community doesn't necessarily want, or that's not one of the major issues that the community wants. And Esports Boxing Club, you know what I'm saying? I know with the punching animations everyone's been complaining about, they addressed it. They said, hey, we're working on it. We're going to try to, you know what I'm saying? We are aware of the issue. And that's compared to UFC 4. Every punch animation isn't great in that game. I think the overhand animation is extremely exaggerated. The rear hook to the body is a very wonky animation. The lead hook is good, but a lot of animations need fixing. The question mark kick animation is terrible. There's a lot of animations that are bad, but it's just that we have accepted it. We have accepted that it's bad, and we moved on from there. Just like if Esports Boxing Club drops bad punching animations, guess what? It's a boxing simulation game. We're going to adjust, adapt to it, and we're just going to accept it. But I also feel like a lot of people are holding ESBC at this as such a high standard when like, why? Why are you holding them at such a high standard when you're coming from a UFC 4 or UFC 3? You know what I mean? Like, you're expecting everything to be perfect, and it's not going to be like that. Obviously, there are going to be flaws within ESBC, but I have hope because they are interacting with their community. They're taking criticism. That's one of the biggest things that you can do is a consumer talking to the customer.
Yeah,
well, and I think that's the same thing. Consumer and customer. I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.